I just watched Five Nights at Freddy's. Spoiler alert, it's fine. I wasn't a massive fan of the game franchise. I've only played the first installment of the game and watched a few Markiplier gameplays. I haven't watched all of the MatPat FNAF theories. There are just so fucking many of them. I mean, there's a fucking play. And yet I flipped out at the cinema when he showed up on screen. While I admire the performances, the music, the cinematography, the production, and the animatronics design, the tone felt to be the biggest issue to this film, making me think in between to the overall product.
You're not angry, but you're not pleased.
I think the director, Emma Tammy, intended to evoke certain emotions from the audience by spending significant time on the main character Mike, as he opens up about his grief and survivor's guilt following his brother's kidnapping, Garrett. However, due to the film's mixed tone, the general audience may need help to experience these emotions fully.
She's very emotional. You should have seen her at the end of Free Willy.
Host!
The transitions between scenes of Mike's childhood trauma and Chica, the chicken animatronic killing people with her cupcake, seems uneven and out of place. Although the film's inherent silliness is not the main issue, it is problematic that the movie cannot decide whether it wants to be serious or unserious at times. While I appreciate the attempt to add depth to the story by exploring themes of grief and trauma, it felt too heavy and out of place in the context of killer animatronics chasing people around, and at the same time, the movie could have been more fun and taking itself less seriously, instead of trying to be too serious.
Ooh, this is hard.
To pick one?
When the film becomes fun, audience find it too cringy or ruins the film for them. In one particular scene, Mike, his sister Abby, the officer Vanessa, and the animatronics build a fort together. I do see that perspective mainly because the scene is in the middle of the film, and at this point, the audience knows that the animatronics scare his capabilities and want to see more of that. After thinking for a while, you could say that this scene just showcases that these animatronics are still children who were taken away from their families and are ultimately trapped inside of these animatronics. But right away, that clip of Bonnie falling over and giving a child the middle finger made me feel a bit off about what the filmmakers were doing with this franchise. Again, I'm not a massive fan of the game franchise, therefore I'm not a part of the filmmakers' intended audience. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I haven't heard much from the FNAF fan community as I'm not a part of it as
I'm sorry you had to see me like that. But anyway, I've been brought here to bring my thoughts on the FNAF movie, which I have been a long-standing fan of the FNAF franchise for as long as it's been out. Now, to clarify, I was personally never one to really play the games, and I ended up just watching people play. But this is all just to say I am well versed in the lore and pretty much the entire story of the games, but not the books. I would never subject myself to reading like 30 books about FNAF.
They certainly were a waste of money.
I may be a fan, but not that much of a fan. So basically, yes, I am what can be considered the target audience for this movie, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, in fact, but I can objectively see that it has many problems. The biggest, as already stated, being tone and not finding it. Which at some points the movie for me felt like Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone, where on multiple occasions, it took itself way too seriously and ended up faltering massively for me. But where I feel FNAF differs from that is, for the most part, while it can be confusing at points, it kept to its lighthearted tone, and when it fell back into said tone, it played it off relatively well. When it comes to this prominently lighthearted tone and themes, most of the viewers, fans included, did not agree with this and wanted something much darker.
Was that the bite of 87?
Especially considering the themes of the games and books are extremely dark in nature. But that's where I think it's incredibly important to take a step back, specifically as fans, and look at all three of these mediums FNAF has been told through and see that they are all very different from each other, and something I think is very purposeful and beneficial for the FNAF movie as a whole. which is something I'm very glad they did, because otherwise we wouldn't have seen a child being thrown across the room via electrocution from a guitar held by a purple 8-foot-tall bunny. Now, I could talk about this movie for hours and all the lore implications that are within it, but I think I should wake Terry back up because I don't want to control this channel forever, even though I totally could at this point. Thank you so much for having me and letting me go on a spiel about a video game movie that probably won't mean anything in 2 years. Thank you so much, Terry.
I want to thank Butter Brady for this collaboration. Please check out his content for hilarious memes, gameplay, and animation. You have one job, audience: do what you love and be happy.